12 years. Then this happened. What would you do if your entire life was taken from you because of something you didn't do? Not just your freedom, but your name, your identity, your future. Imagine waking up every single day knowing the world has already judged you guilty, even when your truth screams the opposite. Sounds like a nightmare, right? But for one man, locked inside cell B-17, this wasn't fiction. This was his reality for 12 long years. And here's where the story begins. Not at the beginning, but at the end. Because sometimes, it's when everything seems over, that the truth finally finds a way to rise. He was no longer known by his name. Just a number. A file. A case already closed in the eyes of society. Accused of a crime he swore he didn't commit, he fought at first. He wrote letters, begged for justice, searched for legal help. He held on to hope with everything he had left. But over time, silence became louder than his voice. Doors stopped opening. People stopped listening. And slowly, something inside him faded. Not his truth, but his strength to keep proving it. So let me ask you, have you ever felt unheard? Misjudged? Like no matter what you say, the world has already decided who you are. When you reach the edge of everything, what truly remains? It's not money, not status, not validation. It's something deeper, something real. For him, that truth had 4 legs and eyes filled with loyalty. A German shepherd. Not just a pet, but his only real connection to love, trust, and purpose. In a world where people failed him, that bond became his anchor. And maybe this question is for you now. If everything was taken from you today, what would still be yours? What truth could no one erase? He found her when she was just a small, trembling puppy near a gate. Fragile, alone, needing someone. And in saving her, he unknowingly saved himself. From that moment on, they were inseparable. A connection built not through words, but through presence. Through energy. Through something deeper than logic. And that connection became the only light inside the darkness of his prison years. Not the hope of freedom, but the memory of love. Because sometimes, it's not hope that keeps you alive. It's meaning. 12 years passed. 12 years of cold walls, silent nights, and a truth buried under judgment. Until one day, the system gave him something unexpected, a final request. A last wish before the end. Most people ask for food, forgiveness, religion, something to fill the emptiness. But he didn't ask for any of that. With a quiet voice, heavy not with fear, but longing, he said, "I want to see my dog, one last time." And in that moment, no one understood. But what they didn't realize is that he wasn't asking for comfort. He was asking for truth. The day arrived. He was taken to the prison yard. Guards watching. Silence in the air. Years of pain standing still in one moment. And then, she arrived. Older now. Time had passed for her too. The question hung in the air. Would she recognize him? Would 12 years of distance erase what they once had? Let me ask you, who in your life would still recognize you, not by your face, but by your soul? The moment their eyes met, everything changed. She broke free and ran toward him. Not with hesitation, but with certainty. The kind of certainty that only true connection carries. He dropped to his knees, arms open, tears finally breaking through years of silence. But then, something unexpected happened. She stopped, just steps away from him. And instead of jumping, instead of celebrating, she began to sniff the ground. Confusion filled the air. The guards grew tense. The man felt his heart break all over again. Even she doesn't recognize me. But this wasn't rejection. This was something deeper. The dog wasn't looking at him. She was sensing something beyond him. Something buried. Something hidden. She moved in circles, focused, alert, growling softly. Not in fear, but in warning. She began digging. Fast. Intense. Determined. The guards tried to pull her away, but she resisted. Barking louder now. Insisting. And in that moment, the man felt something he hadn't felt in years. Trust. "Let her go," he said. "She's trying to show us something." And sometimes, The answers we search for don't come from logic. They come from intuition, from connection, from something we can't explain, but feel. And then, she found it. Buried beneath the ground, a small package. The guards opened it. And inside was the weapon used in the crime. Hidden all those years. Right there. Near his cell. The place no one thought to question. But the truth doesn't stay buried forever. The investigation reopened. Evidence was tested. Fingerprints. DNA. And the result? None of it belonged to him. The truth exploded into the light. The real criminal was found. The man who had hidden the evidence where no one would ever look. And just like that, 12 years of silence were shattered by one act of loyalty. The dog didn't just recognize him, she saved him. She didn't just love him, she proved his truth. And maybe this is where everything shifts for you. Because sometimes, justice doesn't come from systems. It comes from connection. From something pure. Something real. He was finally free. But freedom didn't erase the past. 12 years don't just disappear. He had to learn how to live again. How to trust again. How to heal. And maybe that's the hardest part. Starting over. So let me ask you, where in your life have you accepted something that isn't true? What belief about yourself have you allowed the world to bury? Because here's the truth. Your story isn't over. Your truth is still there. Waiting. And sometimes, all it takes is one moment, one connection, one act of courage, to bring it back to light. If this story made you feel something, don't ignore it. Share it with someone who needs to hear this today. And if you're ready to reconnect with your own truth, stay close. Because your new beginning might be closer than you think.